morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome. I'm Dr. Steve Becker, and I serve as the Director and Associate Dean of the IU School of Medicine here in Evansville. I'd like to welcome you and thank you for joining us today for the announcement of a transformational gift. Transformational for the IU School of Medicine, for the children and adolescents of this region, and for the patients and families everywhere who struggle with bipolar disorder. First, I'd like to welcome some very special guests. Indiana University President Pamela Whitten, IU School of Medicine Dean Jay Hess, President and Executive Officer of the Indiana University Foundation J. Thomas Forbes, Evansville Mayor Lloyd Winnicky, and finally, two people whom I've gotten to know very well over the past 5 years and have come to appreciate not just for their generosity, but for their heartfelt desire to improve this community, this state, and their ambition to make a difference for the mental health of children, Mary O'Daniel Stone and Bill Stone. Which brings us to the reason for this celebratory gathering today. Today, Indiana University, IU School of Medicine, Mary O'Daniel Stone and Bill Stone are proud to announce their gift of $34.2 million. This incredibly generous gift to our region to establish the Mary O'Daniel Stone and Bill Stone Center for Child and Adolescent Psychiatry at the IU School of Medicine in Evansville. So our goals for this center are ambitious but achievable. On the research front, our aim is for the center to become one of America's top research programs in bipolar disorder, a disruptive condition that affects nearly 3% of our adult population. The center will endow 3 chairs and has funding to support an additional 6 researchers in psychiatry who will work to unlock the secrets of bipolar disease and other mood disorders. The center will create a first-of-its-kind, real-world, real-time database for the treatment of psychiatric disorders, built with millions of medical records from across the country. This will be a potent new tool that will point researchers to the most effective therapies and light the path to new innovative approaches to treatment. In terms of clinical care, our goal is for this center to make Evansville a national leader in psychiatric care for children, adolescents, and young adults. This magnificent gift from the Stones will support positions for 9 new patient-facing psychiatrists in Evansville who will specialize in child. This alone will triple the number of child psychiatrists we have in the region. It will improve access to care, enable earlier diagnosis, and start children sooner on a path to better health. It will be the home to new IU School of Medicine Child and Adolescent Psychiatry Fellowships, helping to supply these critically needed physicians to our region and the state. Before I talk about the details of the center, I want to recognize 2 people who have played a critical role in getting us here today, among many others, but I do want to highlight these 2 individuals. The first is the current chair of psychiatry for IU School of Medicine, Dr. Leslie Halverson. Leslie, thank you for helping design the initial outline of the center. Your guidance has been critical. The second person I want to acknowledge is Greg Foles. Over the past 8 years, Greg has supported our students with research opportunities at the Deaconess Clinic Research Institute. And over the last 3 years, he's been instrumental in working with us on developing the Data Analytics Center. right? So, what does the Mary O'Daniel Stone and Bill Stone Center for Child and Adolescent Psychiatry look like? Evansville will serve as the administrative, clinical care, clinical research, and data analytic base for this center. The new clinicians and their support staff will work here. Clinical trials will be conducted here. The center's director will work here. One-of-a-kind data analytics center will be housed in Evansville, serving as a magnet for researchers, both from within the IU School of Medicine and Indiana University, as well as elsewhere around the country. The bulk of this activity will operate from the new space within the recently finished Deaconess Clinic downtown, just across the street here. This 8,500 square foot space was planned and built with this purpose in mind. Finally, advanced brain imaging technology will be available for research and patient care here through our local hospital partners. In a moment, Dean Hess will speak to the expertise and powerful tools that the Indianapolis Center will bring to bear on this project. Almost 2 years ago, Dean Hess and I traveled to Naples to meet with Mary and Bill. Soon after that, we discussed transformational projects that could meet what the Stones wanted to achieve. I'd like to thank Dean Hess for his visionary leadership. As Bill has said many times to me, never be afraid to swing for the fences. If we were going to do something, it had to be bold and transformative. Today, with the establishment of the Mary O'Daniel Stone and Bill Stone Center for Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, our vision of swinging for the fence has resulted in what will soon be a world-class clinical and research center here in Evansville. Through this center, first, we will begin and quickly address the shortage of child and adolescent psychiatrists in southwestern Indiana. Next, we'll help train the next generation of child and adolescent psychiatrists for the region and the state. And finally, we'll become a research epicenter for bipolar disease and other mood disorders. All of this is made possible by Mary and Bill's generosity. We make today's announcement from this world-class medical education facility, the Stone Center for Health Sciences. Bill and Mary, on behalf of the countless children and adolescent youth of southwestern Indiana who benefit from this center, we thank you. On behalf of the millions of patients affected by bipolar disorder who hope to lead healthier and happier lives, and on behalf of their families, we thank you. And finally, on behalf of your hometown, where your generosity and support for so many things are improving the quality of life, we thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce some speakers. So first, it's my pleasure to introduce the Honorable Lloyd Winnicky, the Mayor of the City of Evansville. Lloyd Winnicky was inaugurated in 2012 as the 34th Mayor of the City of Evansville, Indiana. A native of Evansville, Mayor Winnicky has a successful business background in banking, communications, and news information. Mayor Winnicky, from my office here at the Stone Center, I'm so fortunate to be able to watch the revitalization of Evansville that is occurring under your tenure. Thank you so much for your strong leadership, and you have the microphone.
Thank you, Steve. When we dedicated the Stone Family Center for Health Sciences in the summer of 2018, I used words like enduring, generational, and once in a lifetime. The whole idea of this facility was to create a new pipeline of healthcare professionals. Today's announcement is no less important to our city and our region. Today's generous gift announcement from the Stone family will also ensure that this region is known for building a new pipeline of mental health providers with best-in-class data. Within a few short years, this will be a model for others to follow. Both are extraordinary legacies for our region. We all have friends, relatives, and neighbors whom we know struggle with issues of mental health. Yet time and again, a lack of professionals in the field, lack of services, or lack of facilities prevent proper care. I know this from the work of the city's own mental health task force, some of whom are here today. That lack of care devastates families, our neighborhoods, and our city. Some of you know that I recently participated in the 48 Hours in the Life, the homeless experience. During my 48 hours on the street and in the shelters, I witnessed firsthand the need for greater mental health services in our community. Now, make no mistake, we do have dedicated professionals who are trained to treat our most vulnerable relatives and friends. I've been fortunate to see their commitment to serve and enthusiasm to collaborate with other mental health service providers. We simply need more of them. Today's announcement is a step in that direction. And today, while we celebrate the vision of Dr. Steve Becker and his colleagues at the IU School of Medicine and the incredible philanthropy of the Stone family, I know this. This is the first in a series of announcements in our community about improving and expanding mental health services to our region. It will be good news, more good news to come. But today is about celebrating the Stone family, in particular Bill and Mary. I had the pleasure of dining with them last night, and the one thing is abundantly clear. This gift comes from their heart. Their desire to make their hometown better and stronger. Bill and Mary, on behalf of the citizens of Evansville, thank you so much. When we dedicated this facility in 2018, I gave Bill a key to the city. And I was reminded recently that he quipped about how small the key was, given the magnitude of his gift. So that made me start to think about what we could do to honor him today for this gift, larger than the last. So I called my key to the city people, found a bigger key. I think it's in the port of Los Angeles waiting to get here. Truly, it's not here yet. It may be here this afternoon. So, Bill, I did something else, and knowing you as well, I thought you might appreciate this. So here is a giant chocolate key to the city. I figure it's large enough to share with the entire family. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and Merry Christmas, everyone. It's fragile, be careful.
Am I safe to assume that's the first one of those you've received? Okay. You can't talk. I don't want to assume anything, but thank you, Mayor Winnicke. As leaders of the Evansville community, the impact on the financial health of the region is important to the IU School of Medicine and Indiana University. But as healers, the physical and mental health of our patients represents our primary mission as an institution. To talk about the enormous impact the generosity of the Stones will have on this mission of our medical school is our Dean Jay Hess. Dr. Jay Hess has served as the Indiana University School President since 2013. He is responsible for the largest medical school by enrollment in the United States, with 9 campuses, more than 2,000 students, and nearly 7,000 full-time, part-time, and volunteer faculty. He also serves as one of 4 executive vice presidents on the Indiana University and is charged with guiding the university's clinical affairs strategy. I want to personally thank Dean Hess for his tremendous support and leadership in elevating medical education, healthcare, and research across our entire great state. I especially want to thank him for his leadership in making this vision in southwestern Indiana a reality. Please welcome the Dean of the IU School of Medicine, Dr. Jay Hess.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I remember 3 years ago, a little bit more than 3 years ago, thanks to the generosity of the Stone family, we stood right here and dedicated this magnificent building for the health sciences. So that was an important first step in our mission at the IU School of Medicine to improve the health of Hoosiers across the state through education, but also research and clinical care. So now it's time to do that in southern Indiana in a big way. As Dr. Becker mentioned earlier, one of our biggest challenges in the country right now is that we face a crisis in mental health, particularly for children and young adults. Millions of Americans struggle with bipolar disorder in particular. The signs of that often appear in childhood and they grow worse in adolescence and young adulthood. And so for individuals with that disorder, their life lurches between peaks of reckless energy and depths of despair. There aren't enough mental health services to meet the need, and that's part of the reason why the School of Medicine partnered with healthcare systems here in Evansville to begin a psychiatry residency program. But we also don't know enough about this illness to create the kind of care that's effective, the kind of care that's needed. We need to do more research to understand the problem. So today, through the remarkable generosity of the Stone family, we're taking that next step. And Dr. Becker mentioned this, but I know that Bill in particular wants us to be bold. And so our goal for this center is to be a national leader in research and therapies for bipolar disorder and other adolescent psychiatric conditions, to be one of the best. That is a tall order, but we've already built one of the premier research programs for Alzheimer's disease in the country, if not the world. And so the tools that we have created, brain imaging, genetic sequencing, animal models, drug discovery, together with the data lake that will be created here and the new analytic capabilities and the new faculty who will be recruited here, together, we're going to be successful in making a big dent in this problem. And in addition to breakthrough research, as others have mentioned, we are going to have more health providers who can provide the much needed mental health care we need for our children here in southern Indiana. So I'd like to thank Steve Becker for his leadership here in Evansville, a remarkable visionary leader, but also his ability to forge collaborations within the community here, but also the collaborations between Indianapolis and Evansville. Dr. Halvershorn, who is a child psychiatrist and doing a superb job co-leading the Department of Psychiatry, really made huge contributions to the plan for the center. I want to thank President Whidden for her leadership and for making improving health in Indiana a priority for Indiana University. And of course, most of all, I want to express my gratitude to Mary and Bill for imagining what the Stone Family Center could be and then helping realize that vision. You've built a legacy in healthcare here and in this community that will help countless children and young adults here in Indiana live better lives. And that will long endure. So Bill and Mary, on behalf of the IU School of Medicine, thank you.
Thank you, Dean Hess. Before I introduce our next speaker, I do want to acknowledge two of our critical partners in the Stone Center here. President Ron Rochon and President Petroskevich. Thank you for your support, and it's great that you're here for this announcement today. Our next speaker, Dr. Pamela Whitten, became Indiana University's 19th president on July 1st, 2021. President Whitten leads one of the nation's leading research universities at a time of record-level research funding and philanthropic support. Dr. Whitten holds a PhD in Communication Studies from the University of Kansas, a Master of Arts in Communication from the University of Kentucky, and a Bachelor of Science in Management from Tulane University. She's internationally known and recognized expert in the field of telemedicine. It is my honor and privilege to introduce our president, Dr. Pamela Whitten.
Okay, well, I have a speech written for me that says all the things that have been said or should be said in terms of thanking people and the problems we know about with the incidents of mental health, et cetera. And if it is okay with you, I'm just going to put it aside and speak for a few minutes instead. Please don't tell my speechwriters. So my first official trip to Evansville was in October, I believe. I got here as soon as I could. I started in July at the university and had a wonderful day seeing a lot of things. But the highlight of that trip was actually with Dr. Becker. And if you haven't been to his office, he has this great corner office that has all windows. Really beautiful, beautiful office. I covet it just a little bit. And we sat there, and for the longest time, Steve told me the story about his dream and the conversations that he had been having with the Stones about creating this center of the universe, if you will, in terms of vision and dream and actual progress and application for child and adolescent health, particularly with a focus on bipolar disorder. And he got me all excited about it too. And I can't believe here we are, 2 months later, ready to actually roll. And I want to acknowledge that, we talk about a lot of fancy stuff all the time, but I want us to remember that it's about people. And, as referenced in my introduction, I spent many years in my regular life as a college professor doing research in telemedicine. And I did a lot of work in telepsychiatry and worked on a lot of attempted interventions to positively impact care that was delivered to child and adolescents. And you don't do that for very long when it doesn't strike you the significant trauma and drama in a family that confronts these illnesses for their children. And we know that to provide the care that's necessary for those children and their families that are impacted, it comes from many perspectives, right? We have to understand it. So this center is actually going to be really groundbreaking in terms of being aggressive with using data from all over the country, if I understand correctly, to really understand trends and implications and applications and study outcomes related to it. And we have to do that. We have to have the data to sift through and play with this. We're going to bring world-class faculty researchers to Evansville to actually do the research to test and eventually come up with the solutions to address and treat these illnesses as well. But we're not forgetting about the people today that are suffering from these illnesses. And so we're going to have clinicians, and triple the number you talked about coming to this area, that are going to be coming, so right away we can start to have an impact on the lives of these patients and their families as well. And that's tremendous. That's tremendous. That's really what it's all about. And I would say it's so amazing to see it in Evansville. You are a Hoosier by birth. I am a Hoosier by choice. And as I travel around the state and I get to see areas and I come to learn and love Evansville, why not Evansville, right? The issues are as significant here as anywhere, but the opportunity to not only impact health and the quality of life for people here in this corner of Indiana, but with the dreams and ambitions we have, really to impact the quality of life for people all over the country and all over the world. Why not emanate from Evansville, Indiana? So having said that, I'm not a very patient girl, so I'll be very frank with you. I'm anxious to get stuff signed so we can get to work, because we really need to launch this now as fast as we can. So please accept my greatest gratitude and thanks. The impact that you're going to have on lives, we cannot estimate, and we're so grateful as well. So let's finish talking and get signing. Thank you so much.
I think I've heard that term, "Why not Evansville," before. Thank you, President Whitten. William C. Stone and Mary R. O'Daniel Stone are natives of Evansville. Both Memorial grads. Mary's a 1978 graduate of the College of Arts and Sciences at IU Bloomington. Bill received his degree in Business Administration and Accounting from Marquette University in 1977. Bill founded Connecticut-based SS&C Technologies, Inc. in 1986 and has remained chairman of the board and CEO since the company's inception. The company is a provider of services and software for financial services and healthcare industries and is home to over 24,000 employees across over 100 locations in 40 countries. I want to repeat that, 24,000 employees. Think about the number of lives impacted by that employment and their families. In 2011, the company opened an office in Evansville with over 200 employees. Bill and Mary's generosity to their community is notable. In 2018, many of you were present on the dedication of the building that we sit in today. Another world-class center supported by Bill and Mary opened in the same year. The Patricia Browning Sensory Playground on the campus of St. Vincent's Ascension is a nationally recognized facility supporting children's health in our region. Bill and Mary, I'm so pleased to have so many of your family and friends here today to share and celebrate this moment with us as we begin a new chapter in mental health research, education, and healthcare in Southwest Indiana. Please help me welcome Mary O'Daniel Stone and Bill Stone.
I vowed I was not going to come up here and say a lot, but now I find myself right in front of this microphone, and I guess I have to say something. I couldn't be more proud, for this, I don't know what you call it, this venture in mental health, which is so important. I mean, we've seen what's happened over the past, 10, 15 years, and, tragedies that have occurred, and they seem to have all began with mental health problems. So to be able to address this and to bring this to Evansville is fantastic. And being a native of Evansville and being an IU grad kind of is the icing on the cake. So thank you very much for coming here today. I'm not the public speaker in the family, so I'm going to turn it over to Bill, but thank you.
Thanks, Mary. Appreciate that. That's a Hoosier. From the heart. And I think what you can tell is that this is where our heart is. We're Hoosiers. We don't back off. We don't wear it on our sleeve. But that's who we are, and that's what we do. And I've been fortunate enough to be married to Mary for 42 years and be able to do a number of things that have hopefully improved Evansville and really hopefully improved the state and the country. I'm not ashamed to be an American. I'm not ashamed to be a Hoosier. And I'm not ashamed to be from Evansville. The fact is, I'm proud of all three of those things. And I think as we look forward, you know, I am about a couple things. I want to win, right? You know, I don't want to win because I want to be a jerk. I want to win because it's more fun than losing. I don't care if it's ping pong or shooting baskets or, you know, competing for a contract in healthcare or financial services. You know, it's a way of life. It's a way of looking at things, and it's something where, you know, having confidence. You know, I told my mom one time when I moved out east, and I worked for a stock brokerage house for a while, and I said, you know, Mom, they really think I'm laid back. She says, they sure don't know you, do they? So as I started SS&C, I would have to start telling people, I said, look, just because I got a little syrup in my voice, I'm gonna make no mistake. I'm very competitive, you know, and I think that competitiveness is something that allows us to succeed. You know, the people that are here, the dignitaries, I appreciate them coming, and you know, I appreciate the applause, we both do, but more, you know, we want success. You know, when we talk about my mom's Patricia Browning, the sensory perception, all I ever ask is it working? Does it work? Right? Not that it's nice, not that it's not, that there are great slides and noise makers and all kinds of things. Does it work? What are the results? Without results, it's all baloney. Right? So let's don't get too excited till we win. This is just the first step, right? So as we go on this journey together, you know, I appreciate that it's a magnificent gift in some ways. It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning, right? Let's eradicate this. For any of you that have ever been around mental illness, you're helpless. You're helpless. You can pray. I've prayed to every God there is. It don't work. You know, so you have to have clinicians. You have to have experts. You have to have some luck, right? But that's what these kinds of things engender. And I think, you know, I always look at it that, why not Evansville? I don't say that. Smartest people here, because there is anywhere else, right? So we're here to get on with it. And that's what I appreciate of Dr. Becker, who I've gotten to know very well, and Mayor Winnicky, and my cousin Mark Browning. He's the best, right? He's the best. So with that, I guess I got to sign some things, and it cost me all this money, but I got a chocolate key.
That's Bill, folks. Okay. So let's have the people who are going to sign come up, and let's formally sign today. So Bill and Mary, one of the things we're doing here is we got a small card that we'd like people to sign. Thank you. That will end up being, hopefully, in the new center across the street. So for those that are here today, we would love for you to sign the card so that all of us will remember today here the event we had, and also the wonderful things that are going to come from what starts here today. So that officially ends our program today. Thank you all for coming, and we look forward to getting going on the center across the street. Thank you.
Just a reminder that family members, you are invited to join Bill and Mary on a tour of the new center, and that's going to start at 11, I believe it's 11:15. So.
Just whatever you do, don't be like a tree. It has the danger of doing something. that alone is hard. We started.
Especially considering you want to have like it's nice to have like I think you can really you can expand everything you do. Well then I think a lot of times it's even lower depression. I can't